Give the call to the member for Tangney.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Veterans Affairs. What steps is the Albanese Labor government taking to combat veteran homelessness?
Give the call to the Minister for Veterans Affairs and the Minister for Defence Personnel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I would like to thank the member for taking for this important question and thank him for the work that he's doing with his veterans in his community. I know that he has visited with organisations in his electorate that are looking to provide homelessness services to support veterans in Western Australia, which is really important. And we learned how important it is in March when the census data was released that showed that on census night in 2021, 1,555 individuals who have served our nation were homeless. And in the first 12 months of this Albanese Labor government, we've been working to deliver on our commitments to build a stronger foundation for a better future for veterans and families. And that includes doing things like in the October budget that we handed down, $3.6 million for the Scott Palmer Centre in Darwin, which will provide homelessness services for veterans in Darwin and is very important. But I want to draw members' attention to the report that was handed down in May of this year, Housing All Australians, Leaving No Veterans Behind, because they said Australia is in a housing crisis. We don't have enough social, affordable and public housing for the people who need it most, including our veterans and other key workers. This has long-term implications for Australian society as we know it today. Doing nothing is not an option. And that report made a key recommendation. Alongside the investment required by governments to address the lack of public, social and affordable housing supply, investment in outreach services and the development of more targeted and intensive care programs that provide comprehensive and ongoing support could be considered. Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm very proud to be part of a government that wants to do exactly that. Because part of our commitment at the last election, as part of the $10 billion Housing Australia Future Fund, the legislation for which we are trying to get through this parliament right now, was that $30 million would be allocated to build housing and fund specialist support services for veterans experiencing homelessness. And after a wasted decade, we are now running out of time. RSL Australia says the time for action is now. VASI RSL Care says we urge the parliament to come together and reach agreement. I met with the RAFA Association in WA only yesterday about this important issue. They would like to be able to fund services in a state which currently has no specialist veteran homelessness service, and yet we can't do that, not because we don't want to, we can't do it because the Liberal Party and the National Party and the Greens Party are saying no. They are saying no to funding veterans' homelessness services, and they can shout about it all they like, Mr. Speaker, but the reality is it is those parties that are holding up providing these services desperately needed right now.
The Minister's time has concluded.